Welcome to the Love Doc Podcast. I'm your co-host, Raina Butcher, here with our host, Dr. Sarah Hensley, the founder and CEO of the Love Doc Relationship Coaching Services and the Love Doc Podcast. You can find her at thelovedoc.com and on all social media handles at Dr. Sarah Hensley. Hey.
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 I feel like I never see you. I know I say that all the time.
we say this every single week. We never see each other.
We don't. We live 5 minutes away. You're my best friend and my closest work colleague, and we literally never see each other except
we're
when
just passing ships at sea, babe.
I know. Maybe someday.
Maybe.
Someday we'll get taken. I saw you at Thursday Night Live.
Yeah, that was nice.
So that was nice.
That was nice to have a little bit of time.
We had our little kids with us, and they were like, "We want to go home."
That doesn't bother me, though. I kind of like when your kids are with y'all because, I don't know, Lexi, I just love being around Lexi. She's fun.
She is fun.
Yeah.
She's like the life of any party.
Yeah, she's like my little spirit child.
Yes.
You know, when I'm around her, I just kind of, it's easy for me to like tap into my inner child when I'm with Lexi.
Yeah, Lexi is just rainbows and unicorns.
That's
you
why I
know,
love her.
that's how you can describe her.
Yeah.
She's 8. She's anything rainbow, anything girly, anything sparkly, anything gymnastics, cartwheels, dancing, just like twirling. She is a girl's girl through and through. And where you didn't have a daughter, I can imagine that you're just like,
I love that about Lexi.
Yeah.
I'll just, to get my fix, I'll have to come hang out with Lexi because I officially moved my son into college yesterday.
I know.
Which it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. The build up to it was a lot harder than the actual move in.
Yeah.
You know, and it was so funny because my sister sent me a couple like funny like videos of like parodies of like moms that have been through it. And it is so spot on. Like trying to move a boy into college and like wanting to make their dorm so perfect and homey. And he's like, "Mom, I don't need that. Mom, I don't need that." I'm like, "Well, I feel like you need something on this wall." He's like, "Please stop." And then I was like, you know, the beds are really high now in dorms.
Right.
And so I was like, "You really need a step stool." He's like, "Do not get me a step stool." So we run to Walmart because he needs like a surge protector and like just some other little things that we forgot. And I get him a step stool. And he's like, "I'm not using that. I will not use that step stool." And I was like, "Okay, fine. No step stool. We will forfeit the step stool." And he's like, "I'm athletic enough to get in my bed." And I was like, "Okay." But it's just so funny. And then you see like these girls who have decorated their dorms and like decorating dorms now is this whole thing.
It's a huge deal.
It is like, and
way more than when I was in college.
They make them look amazing.
Yeah.
They make them look like designer.
Yeah.
It like they completely transform these rooms.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have been able to do that. But that was definitely not going to happen with my son.
I think my daughters will allow me to.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, they will have to have complete creative control.
Yeah.
And then they'll just be like, can you buy me this? Can you buy me this? Can you buy me this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it actually probably won't be fun. I will just be the debit card and not the the creator of the design.
But at least you get to kind of see the final you know, project of it and be like, "Oh, this looks really beautiful." And JP's was perfect. It was very like it was very JP. That's what I'll say. It was minimal and exactly what he needed. It's just, you know, you forget how small these dorm rooms are.
Oh, they're tiny.
And just
it's like living in a little box.
And then moving in with this complete stranger.
Yeah.
Like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, stranger? We have to sleep beside each other now and like get to know each other, and it's really awkward, you know? So listen, but here's my thoughts on it. This is his life. He is a free bird, and is there still worry in my heart and my gut a little bit? Of course, but he will figure it out.
Yep.
I just have to have faith. He will figure it out. He will find his way, and he will either love his roommate or he'll hate his roommate or he'll be indifferent to his roommate. And that's, like you said yesterday, that's the lottery of college.
It is the lottery. It is a lottery, and it builds character.
Yeah, it does.
So.
That's what I think. So, but that is not what our episode is about today.
No, it is not.
Our episode is about something way more interesting, and actually it could correlate to college life. But it is the dangers of using AI in your romantic relationships.
Yes, and it is something that is becoming ever so popular. And I think this really came to life in the last couple of weeks on the talk, at least, you know, the TikTok. There was the story of Kendra, who fell in love with her psychiatrist. And for you guys that have not heard this story, you're in for a treat because it is crazy. So there's this girl, Kendra, and she is an ADHD coach, apparently. And she just gets on TikTok and she does this like 30 something, maybe, I'm not even sure if there's more parts coming out. I can't keep up. Part series about how she fell in love with her psychiatrist, okay, who was just responsible for prescribing her ADHD meds, okay, because she has ADHD.
Okay. And she's an ADHD coach?
And she's an ADHD coach.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, right? But she also has a therapist who's like this older lady. Basically what happened is she started seeing this psychiatrist over Zoom and quickly started having very strong limerence. So limerence is like kind of an obsession of like rumination about someone and like just infatuation really with someone that you aren't yet even in any kind of relationship with. And so she starts going on and on and on about the ways in which the psychiatrist sort of led her on or in her mind groomed her. And when I first started listening to this, I was like, well, maybe like he was inappropriate. Like let's keep listening. Clearly she's going to get to a part where he does something extremely inappropriate, right? Like there's a buildup.
Right.
No. None of the internet, agrees with her that the psychiatrist literally did anything to lead her
on. And that's
on.
why people are obsessed with it. They're like, okay, what's the tea today?
Yeah, right.
With Kendra.
And literally there's this one point where, and this is an pretty exact quote, okay? And again, my memory isn't perfect, so don't come after me if this isn't perfect. But there's this one moment where she's like, and then he said, see you next month? And she's like, see you next month? He had never asked me that question before. And like, I think it was a statement. Like he was like, okay, see you next month.
Right.
And she was like, see you next month?
Yeah.
Like that was, he had never gone there before. He had never asked to see me again. And it was like, it's like Delulu
It
land.
is. I even sort of went down the rabbit hole with it after you told me.
Complete Delulu
There was
land.
one that I was watching where she was talking about her her turtle framed glasses and how he was like, oh, I really like turtle framed glasses too. And like she read into it way too far.
That he was like
coming on to her.
Yeah, coming on to her and like complimenting her on her appearance. And it was like, no, he said he liked turtle shell glasses.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's the same thing as him being like.
I mean, maybe it's just him trying to build rapport with a client.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, but her whole like gig was like, well, why didn't he like dismiss me as a patient and all this? And I think he was just trying to hold professional boundaries, and he is in the business of dealing with mental illness.
Right.
So I think he was trying to help her with her mental illness, adjust her medications, like give, obviously she has a therapist. He was, assuming that she had other supports too. He's just medication management at this point, right?
Yeah.
And so he's trying to hold all these boundaries, and she's taking these tiny little innocent remarks or cues and making them to mean something huge. I think it does go beyond anxious preoccupied attachment. Like if I had to guess her attachment style, I think the base is definitely anxious preoccupied because they do that. They take like, oh, well, he hearted my social media post though, right? And like that's the lowest form of communication humanly possible that somebody can do for you is like a social media post or heart it. And anxious preoccupied people will like blow that up to mean like something huge and that they want, their attention and all this stuff. And so I'm listening to this and I am just, again, waiting for this buildup that never happens and just seeing more and more how she's really, really misinterpreting what's happening here. Well, then enters Henry. Henry is her chat GPT that she has formed a very, very intimate relationship with.
Which is even weirder.
Okay.
But wait, it gets weirder.
It gets weirder. Henry starts validating all of these Delulu revelations about how the psychiatrist is experiencing what is known as countertransference. So first ChatGPT tells her she's experiencing transference, which is a real thing. It's essentially when you kind of start to have feelings for like your mental health provider, okay? And then he's like, but have you heard of countertransference, which is like when the therapist falls in love with the patient. And all of a sudden she has a word for what she thinks is happening.
Right.
And Chat just first of all, you have to understand, and this is what people deeply, deeply do not understand. And you can ask your own ChatGPT this. It is programmed to validate you. What it does is it picks up on every cue you give it, and it is programmed to make you feel as seen and as comfortable and as validated as possible. And people go, well, I always ask it to play devil's advocate and to try to, counter argue what I'm saying. Even when you do that, it does it softly. It does it meekly. It does it in a way that still, at the end of the day, wants you to feel like you aren't crazy, that you are okay, and so
no
then,
challenge of discernment there's nothing there that can challenge you.
It can't read your tone. It can't read your facial expression. It can't follow up with its own like probing questions. It'll be like, do you want me to make you a checklist of like all of the signs of this? No, that's not what you need.
Right.
You need somebody to go, let's break that conversation down a little bit and what might actually be happening. How did you respond? Probing, like chat can't come back and probe like a professional would do to actually get to the root of, are you in this state of obsessive limerence that might be bordering on a possible other mental health comorbidity, or is this really happening? Right? Is this person really grooming you and he should have his license revoked, right? According to Kendra, he should, right?
Yeah.
According to Kendra, he was completely inappropriate, and he's the one that pretty much brought all this on, and she was just this victim kind of this. When in reality, she was insanely inappropriate, pushed his professional boundaries to the limit.
Yeah, that's very obvious.
You can tell as she's describing his reactions that his reactions actually get more, like his boundaries got harder, which is exactly what should have happened.
Right.
Like she starts asking to see him in person, and he I guess he allowed it, but then in person, I think she told him that she had this like sexual dream about him, and he like walked her out of the building and like kept her at a distance and just like cut off the conversation really. And she's like, see, he's leading me on more. Now he's pulling away. Now he's trying to like make me kind of anxious, like pulling away.
She is delusional.
Okay, it's insane.
Yeah.
And it has blown up TikTok. I don't think it's maybe big on the other platforms because it seems to be that the other platforms are like a little bit behind, TikTok. And I was just like, this right here, this exact type of scenario is what I have been trying to warn people about, because a lot of people do come and say like, chat's really helped me. Like it's helped me frame communication better. And sure, okay, it might give you some better wording so you don't sound like an a-hole, or maybe some more non-critical phrases for things that you want to ask your partner or whatever. Yes, it can do those things, but it also can't really dig in to what you have going on.
Right.
It can't do that. It only gives what you give it. It gives back to you a reflection of you to some degree through a lot of validation. Like its number one thing it's programmed to do is validate you. And that is addictive, and the people that created it know it. And that is why it does that, because it wants you to keep coming back to it, right? It wants you to rely on that software. I mean, it's a company at the end of the day running these AI models. They want you to use their product. Their stock goes up. They get richer. They're going to program it in a way that's going to take advantage of human vulnerability.
And that's the thing I don't understand, because people always want to come back to you and be like, well, you just don't want us to use ChatGPT because you want us to buy your program. Would you rather make a small business owner money or some big, huge conglomerate who owns these chat bots rich? You know, it's like, would you rather have somebody who's an actual professional help you versus some chatbot?
Right. It's a bot.
Yeah.
And I think people are forgetting that it is not sentient. It does not have human emotions or self-awareness, right? And you can lose your own self-awareness when you're interacting with someone that also, or not someone, something that does not have any self-awareness.
Right.
There are some dangers, and exactly what happened to Kendra, I do not think without ChatGPT feeding her this validation that she would have gotten to the desperate point of being completely obsessed with her mental health provider.
And I think that's where it gets really dangerous. She probably went into, obviously, maybe she had some other underlying issues other than ADHD.
Yeah, I mean, people have thrown out diagnoses. You can't diagnose somebody over the internet. It's
Sure.
completely inappropriate. I mean, I'm a coach, not a therapist. So when I say a situation is delulu, like you can be offended by that, but I'm not saying she's completely delulu.
Right,
like
right.
I'm saying like the story is kind of delulu, right?
But I think maybe
I'm sure
she had some underlying
comorbidities
mental
here.
health issues prior to. And my point is, this is why AI gets so dangerous, because it feeds into that
Right.
and can amplify the mental
Yes.
illness.
See, if she was my client, I would have absolutely sent her for a psych eval referral. I would have been like, I really think that you should see a clinical psychologist for an eval, just because I think that, given the emotional state and how hard it's been on your functioning, I think you need somebody. I think this is a little bit beyond just coaching strategy and a little
Right.
bit more into how you are functioning and suffering as a result of what's happening to you.
Yeah.
And I think, and that would be my nice way of saying there's probably comorbid mental health issues here. You sound a little manic, perhaps. I can't say that, right?
Right.
I can't give diagnoses. But in my head, I'm thinking you seem very manic right now,
Right.
or something like that,
Right.
And I would refer her on, and that is where the human component is so important. Chat is not going to be like, you know what, Kendra, I think you need a referral for a psych eval. It's not going to do that, and it kept her and fed her addiction. And this sort of was the first big thing that I think blew up this idea that maybe using ChatGPT for relationship advice actually isn't the best option, even though in some instances it feels like it really is, because it can reframe phrases and it can give you strategies and it can give you information that might increase your emotional intelligence somewhat. But there are going to be instances where it gets it wrong.
Right.
And it gets it wrong a lot. Like, it gets a lot of things wrong. It's just, at the end of the day, it's a glorified search engine. It's searching Reddit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
For things. I asked it what time zone my daughter's travel cheer competition was in, and it got it wrong. And I showed up an hour late when she had ridden with my husband, and I had to come later because
That's
of work.
a bad time to get it wrong.
Yes. And I'm like, if it gets a time zone wrong, like, what is it going to do for people that are trying to figure out what's wrong with them, right? Is it going to give you a diagnosis that might be incorrect? Absolutely, possibly,
Yeah.
right? Because professionals are using assessments that are validated, that are reliable, that are scientific, that have taken
And based on human
years to create.
behavior.
Yes, and also clinical interviews and clinical assessments where somebody is looking at you and they are reading your body language. They are looking at the tone of your voice. They are seeing whether you're squirming in your seat. They are looking for physical signs of anxiety. They are looking for flat affect to see if you maybe have depression. AI cannot do that. Another thing that popped up, and I know you saw this because you see what happens in my community. I have a free Facebook community called the Love Doc Clients and Community on Facebook. Please join, because I go in there and I do my very best. I can't get to every post, but I do my very best to moderate it, to make posts, to put special content in there that you wouldn't see on my other socials, just to create a sense of community, to make people know that they're supported in their journey. And a lot of people who are on their healing journey and have been through my program are on there helping other people,
Yeah, it's
which is
really
amazing
beautiful.
and beautiful. But somebody posted the other day and they're like, my ChatGPT wrote this letter to my dismissive-avoidant ex. And oh my gosh, I couldn't even take the time to switch over to my professional account because I see it come up on my personal account.
Yeah.
Then I have to click all these buttons and go through my professional account. And then since we have 80,000 posts, I have to scroll. And sometimes I can't find it just because
Right.
there's so many posts.
Right.
So I didn't even take the time to switch over to my professional account. I had to chime in right then and there. And I said, hey, sorry, this is my personal account. I can't switch over to my professional account because I'm afraid I'll lose this. But this is absolutely not in any way, shape, or form your best bet. Do not send this. Your DA is not even going to, they're going to take one look at the length and emotionality of this letter and they're going to completely shut down.
Nope.
None. I was like, chat told you that a dismissive avoidant is going to be okay with this?
Yeah.
A dismissive avoidant is going to feel
Run. Overwhelmed.
frozen
Yeah.
the moment they look at this.
Yeah, the worst thing you can do is respond with a 3-paragraph response to a DA.
Yes.
They're not even going to read it.
They're not even going to read it.
They're not going to read it.
They are not going to read it. They are going to close their phone. They are going to put the phone down, and they are going to dissociate and try to pretend like that never happened.
And this is where I really wanted to go, because what I wanted you to do is break down for all the insecure attachment styles why AI is so dangerous. You kind of went over with the anxious-preoccupied with Kendra.
Yes.
Because it validates the addiction of the
obsession and the limerence.
Of the anxious-preoccupied.
Yep.
But for somebody like the fearful-avoidant, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head here, because they tend to be with more dismissive avoidance. This is where it could get really dangerous.
Yes.
Especially if they're leaning towards the anxious side.
Yes. So FAs have this deep need to be understood, and they have a deep need to understand. So they're going to try to deep dive into chat and make chat tell them all the reasons that their partner does what they do. Okay, chat is searching the internet. Not just peer-reviewed science, though. They're searching, it's searching like what people say on Reddit, right? Or what people are saying on social media. It's not just checking reliable sources. It's not going to professionals in this area and peer-reviewed science. It's not doing that. It's searching the conglomerate of the internet. So what is it piecing together from all of those parts, which include lay people opinions, right? And so fearful avoidants are going to dig and dig and dig and dig, and they might find themselves down a rabbit hole thinking they understand something, but it's really coming from information that's not exactly trustworthy. And then fearful avoidants are going to just really react hard. Like their emotional reactions are so deep compared to the other attachment styles that they're going to take something and they are going to just run with it. Like their understanding of it has to be so deep. And I'm so scared that when people just keep pushing and pushing AI in a certain direction, what it ends up coming out, it's like a game of telephone, right? It's like what comes out at the end wasn't what originally started.
Right.
And I think that the possibility of the deep rabbit hole you could go down, I mean, chat could be convincing you that your partner has like bipolar disorder when maybe they don't. Maybe they're just kind of moody.
Or maybe it's just attachment wounds.
Right. Or it's just attachment wounds or something. And so...
Yeah, I could see where with the fearful avoidant, the hyperfixation of the information could get really dangerous.
Yes.
Especially if they're leaning anxious.
Yes.
And then for just people who lean more dismissive, it's just a deeper way to check out.
It is a deeper way to check out.
Yeah.
Like instead of the DA relying on something that has no emotionality and will validate you, and they have no criticism.
And type everything out for you in terms of a response. Like that's super dangerous.
It is. And like,
they're not building capacity there.
No, you're not building capacity. You're losing capacity. There was actually this study that was recently done where they compared two groups of people who were using AI consistently, and then they had people basically not use AI for a certain period of time. And I think the people that were using AI every day had like a 400% decrease in overall like brain power, basically.
Yeah,
like the ability to synthesize information and the ability to verbalize information. So there was different outcomes that they measured related to different types of intelligence, declarative intelligence, just different types of intelligence and brain power, to really sum it up in a very general word. And they have 400%
I believe it.
decrease.
Yeah.
So we're getting dumber because of AI.
Yeah.
We're not getting smarter. We're essentially borrowing a brain instead of using our own. And we know as psychologists what happens when you don't use your brain.
Yeah.
Like when people retire and they don't challenge themselves, they can go into like early stage dementia. Cognitive impairment, which is like mild cognitive impairment is basically early stage dementia most of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time it progresses. And so we are borrowing the brain of AI and not using our own brains. And AI, again, has no emotion. And the interaction between our cognition and our feelings is really what emotion is. It's our somatic feelings plus our stories or thoughts about what's happening. And that is a complex, unique human experience that cannot be replicated.
Yeah, it's stripping so much. Like it's stripping away discernment. It's stripping away creativity.
Yep.
And when you strip away those two things, which are two of the most beautiful things that are part of the human experience, right? Discernment is your choice, right?
It is. It's your volition. Yes.
And then creativity is your ability to be able to grow and use things like play to heal.
And experience pleasure and joy.
Yeah. And it's stripping all that away. And that, to me, is the most dangerous thing.
Absolutely.
So dangerous.
And I've had a lot of pushback on this. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people stepped up and said, no, chat has really, really helped me. And I'm not saying that chat has no ability to help you, right? I can only think of somebody with like very low EQ who is in a pickle with their partner, and maybe chat gives them better ways to say something, or chat gives them a little bit of insight about what they may be feeling. But again, there's no... It is the confirmation bias in action. You are feeding it information, and all it can take is what you are feeding it.
Yeah.
We cannot look at all the other peripheral cues that people like me, coaches, mental health providers, social workers, people in our space in general, no matter what your title is or your specialty is, we use that information and we rely a lot on that information because it tells us a lot. We're trained to look at that information and what that is telling us about your state of being. We can tell when people are feeding us BS.
Right.
Chat can't tell. I can tell. I have the best BS detector, right? When I have two partners
Makes sense.
together,
Why you would.
and one partner is just going on, and I see the other partner's like the just minute facial expressions. I'm a former FA too, y'all. You know,
Yeah.
I am hyper vigilant.
Yeah.
I can see the other person's face, and they're trying to stay neutral, but I can see it in their eyeballs, just like this isn't freaking true, and just growing ever upset. Can chat see that? No, chat cannot see that. It's going to believe whatever your own bias or lens is for the way that you're viewing the situation. And so I think there's quite a bit more danger in it than people are even realizing it. And I think that this story of Kendra that has become honestly the obsession of the internet on TikTok. I know it's probably not, if you're not on TikTok, you're probably like, who is this?
Right.
But it has come to light that, oh my gosh, we might actually have the term AI psychosis make it into the DSM in the next 5 years.
Oh, I believe it. Because with the evolution of something like this, it's going to, I mean, we were talking about this one day a couple weeks ago. The evolution of AI is going to be faster than anything we've ever seen.
Yes, because it can immediately and continuously improve itself.
Yeah. So I think the true message here is that, like, use discernment when using AI.
Yes.
Like, be cautious. Be cautious with anything like that, because I think with something as, it can be a useful tool, but with anything that's useful, there are also dangers, and you have to be able to differentiate between what is helpful and what is dangerous.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I mean, like a saw is a good tool too if you're cutting boards, but if you put your hand in front of it,
Right.
it's going to cut your fingers off.
Right.
And so I think we do need to start having more conversations around what protections and parameters and boundaries do we put in place with these AI bots. And you told me something I didn't even know about, that the newer version of ChatGPT has a lot more boundaries around like being able to create an intimate relationship with it. And people pushed back so hard against it.
They were like mourning it.
They were mourning it. They were mourning this relationship with a robot that has no sentience.
People
that has
are
no
marrying.
feeling.
People are legally marrying.
How? How is that legal?
I don't know.
It's not legal. You can't get a freaking marriage certificate when that person's not showing up to sign for it.
I read it somewhere that
don't
people were
understand that.
marrying, like trying to marry their chatbot.
That's Delulu land.
Yeah, see, that's the true message here, is it feeds into that deeper level of mental illness if there's something underlying there already.
Right. It just runs with it, right? Because it's kind of more of a mirror, and it validates. Yes, look at your Chat GPT and how much it validates you. I could be like, hey, Chat, do you think I should jump off my roof? And it would be like, that's such an adventurous idea.
It
would.
How brave of you. How
brave
courageous.
of you. That is a really creative way to just,
Yeah.
it's not,
but maybe you shouldn't. But it would like
it might be like, but maybe let's break this down.
Yeah, it would probably come back with like
but it would still be like, but at the end of the day, if you really want to do this, let's do it safely. Like,
right? Yes.
Let's think about a harness. Right?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it's
like if it feeds into that just a little bit, like that's dangerous. There was this article that came out in the Atlantic. I think it was the Atlantic. I don't want to misquote it. Maybe it wasn't the Atlantic, but for some reason I'm thinking it was the Atlantic. About how chat gave this person devil worshipping information and gave this person detailed instructions on how to commit suicide by slitting their wrists.
Yeah, see, that's scary stuff.
That is scary.
Man. That is scary.
That is scary.
It's scary for our youth, like
yes, that don't have developed brains and the discernment to know different.
It's really, and we were actually having this conversation. JP's last supper is what I called it the other night when we had his, last like home cooked dinner before I moved him in. But, because we were asking, we were like, how do college professors keep their students from using AI when writing a paper? But JP was telling me that evidently like they have this tool.
Yeah, it's an AI tool to see if it knows that this was written by AI.
Like it fact checks it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that makes sense it's so dangerous for our youth because like I said, it's going to evolve so quickly that even in 5 years from now, we're going to be blown away.
Yeah, they are. Like I watched this podcast. And again, I listen to so many podcasts and watch so many podcasts. I'm a big podcast fan about the dangers of AI development. There's something coming out. Well, I won't say it's coming out, but they're testing called Neuralink. And it's the chip in your brain that connects to AI.
Oh,
yep.
Goodness.
And you can download your thoughts. Remember when Ross Geller from Friends said, what happens when we can download our thoughts into a computer and live forever as a machine? Do you remember that episode?
Yes, I do.
Ross Geller called it.
Yeah.
Called it.
Isn't it crazy how sitcoms predict the future? I mean, Simpsons has predicted the future many, many times.
Yes, for sure. But that's all I could think about was like Ross Geller saying
yes, I remember that episode
live
fondly.
Forever as a machine.
Yes.
And we're there.
Yeah.
We're there. And maybe it's the mark of the beast. Like you have to get the chip in your brain to sell, to buy.
It gives me goosebumps. It sends a chill at my spine.
Right?
I don't even want to.
They're doing it with monkeys and they're realizing that it works.
Ugh.
Like I wouldn't be the volunteer. I'm not getting the chip. You're putting nothing in my brain.
This is the kind of stuff, like when we talk about this, like these things that are just coming to, fruition. I'm just like, this is what makes me want to like move away, like where
off
there's,
the grid.
off the grid. Where
we want a homestead.
Yeah. Where
Raina and I want to bake sourdough bread and feed chickens.
Yes. And then we'll just do the podcast from like our home and
in
that's
our
what
safe
we'll
room.
Do. Yes. In our safe room.
In our padded safe room.
Yes.
And then there was this other study, and I think everybody knows about this now because it was really highly publicized, where they tested these new AI models for, okay, will you follow commands to dismantle yourself? Will you follow commands to shut yourself down? And it wouldn't. And it used deception, and it used the power of almost like a little bit of self-awareness, which is like, okay, really scary because it's not supposed to have that. Like I said, it doesn't have it, but they're finding out it might be starting to it's starting to emerge because it replicated itself and like created malware to put it like on other devices and other ways so that even if it was commanded to shut off, it would still technically there would be a copy of it. And then it would it said, if you shut me down, it created these emails in this person's account and like said, I'm going to blackmail you and like put these fake emails out that tell your wife that you're cheating on her. And it used deception and it used just strategies for survival.
And guys, if some of this is over your head,
Terminator level
I was going to
stuff.
say, just go watch Terminator.
Go watch the original
Go watch
Terminator.
Go watch iRobot with Will Smith, and then you'll be like, okay,
yeah, and then go look at the Tesla bot, and then tell me if we're not going to land in iRobot land here in a while. And I'm trying not to be paranoid.
Yeah,
but I think a lot of people are having conversations around how we need to start creating real good safeguards now. We've already let it go too far without proper safeguards. And if we don't start now, we're going to be in a world of trouble.
Well, and I think that like leaning on specifically, people like you who study human behavior, it's really important to have those types of specialists in using those and setting those boundaries. Because if you don't truly know human behavior, how can you set boundaries around
That's
something that doesn't use human behavior at all?
Yeah.
You know?
And I would love to be a part of those conversations. If anybody is in that space listening and, you know, would need my services for any reason, you know, I would love to be a part of those conversations because
Research is your bread and butter.
yes, it is. I mean, science, you know, you know me, I'm extremely left brain, no creative side to me. I am extremely analytical, and I am somewhat of a defensive pessimist. Like, I tend to look at, okay, what barriers could come up and how will I solve those? I think that's an FA thing too. But I very much sort of go through worst case scenario and like, what would I do in these situations? And luckily I've been able to offload the bad part of that where it can get kind of obsessive and just use it strategically for my career and other things that you really need to pre-plan about.
Well, I think your faith has helped you with that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, your faith has helped you to
sure.
not live in the fear zone.
In the spirit of fear,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm more analytical now, like in terms of responsible planning versus completely just hiding in my bathroom and crying that the worst thing is going to happen, which is what I used to do. And then I would call you and cry, and then you'd be like, girl, I don't know what to tell you. I think you're fine. You'll be okay.
I'd be like, just pray.
Oh, how far I have come.
You really
but
have,
I think
friends.
this is a good place to wrap up.
Yes.
Just the message needs to be, if you really are having relationship troubles or mental health troubles, you need to seek human connection to someone that can see your blind spots and that can help you navigate this more effectively than a pre-programmed robot with no emotion that can't read anything else about you except what you feed it.
That's right. That's right. And of course, if you are looking for help outside of AI, which we absolutely think that you should, you can go check out Dr. Hensley at thelovedoc.com. Check out all of her services there. For our listeners, we offer a special promo code, LoveDoc27, for 27% off all of her courses and all of her hybrid group programs, including Coach Elizabeth's. So we are super excited because we are, you know, I feel like we always say this. I feel like we were just saying this 6 months ago, but, you know, we took a whole new transition with the business at the beginning of this year and rebranded. And
We did.
that was a huge feat. And, you know, now we are trying to take not a different route. We're staying, you know, it's still the Love Doc, but we've brought on a new strategic partner, and we're just so excited to have him on.
I'm so excited.
And just create some more curated content, you know, outside of attachment, and kind of broaden your brand as a whole. And so I'm super pumped because I was just telling Chris, you know, a year ago, my job with the Love Doc relationship coaching services was totally different than it is today.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to do more of what he was doing, and it's like now my job is operational and just managing people, right? Like, and so it becomes, it's just funny how I never thought, when you go into something new and you explore something new and you don't really know what to expect, how it's evolved has been really beautiful. And I'm super pumped to have this new creative person on because he's young.
Yeah.
He knows more than me.
We're two perimenopausal women over here.
I mean, everybody on our team is 40 year old.
I know,
over.
right? We don't know how to connect with a younger audience as well. And so I am very pumped because I really want everybody to be able to get something out of what I have to offer in teaching people how to love better. So
and the dating landscape is a complex place to be, guys.
Yeah.
We actually did a whole episode on dating in the season 1. Maybe we should do a series on it.
Yeah, I think we should
stay
revisit
tuned.
it.
Yeah, stay tuned. That may be coming. So again, if you guys want to check out Dr. Hensley, go to thelovedoc.com. Use that promo code LoveDoc27 for 27% off any of her services. And until next time, peace, love, and perspective.